Welcome to Intentional Excellence Podcast. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. I'm a keynote speaker, podcaster, live show host, educator, and entrepreneur. This podcast is all about embracing purpose, resilience, and intentionality in everything that we do. This month, we're diving into a powerful series, Solo and Strong, Thriving as a Single Parent. Being a single parent comes with its unique set of challenges, but it also builds incredible strength, resilience, and purpose. This series is all about highlighting individuals who are not just surviving, but thriving,
Mhm.
balancing their career, family, and personal growth with intentionality. Tonight, I'm honored to welcome our guest. Her name is Angie Mays from the UK. Angie is a mindset coach for achieving women who are exhausted from trying to do it all. She helps career driven midlife women reclaim their energy, set boundaries that actually stick, and create simple systems to free up time for what truly matters. Her turning point came after pushing through burnout for years until a painful injury left her unable to sleep. In those restless nights, she realized how she was showing up for her family, and she didn't like who she had become tired, irritable, and snapping because she had nothing left to give. And that's when she made the choice to put herself first, and now she's helped other women to do the same. If you're ready to go from overwhelmed to empowered, you're in the right place right now. My viewers, please help me welcome the amazing Angie Mays. Hi, Angie.
Hello, thank you for having me and that beautiful introduction.
That was a beautiful. I love everything that you're doing, and I just want to let you know that I value you for being in my show. Really specifically choose the people that I allow to be a guest because I want, you know, I want real stories, real solutions, and real women. And right now, I just can't wait to dive in and learn more about you and what you can offer our viewers.
Amazing, thank
Angie,
you.
yeah, thank you. Angie, is there anything that I forgot to mention? Do you want to add more to to your introduction? Anything else that you want the
No,
audience to
not
know?
really. Just that I'm promoting the You First method. So all my work is about putting you first, and that's my ideal mindset change for conquering exhaustion and before it gets to burnout.
Nice. We're going to talk more about that. I can't wait because that's something that's happening in a lot of social settings here and companies, schools. So I would like to get your input on that. Okay. All right. Let's start. So, Angie, big part of my podcast. My podcast is called Intentional Excellence. One big part is I talk about resilience. But this time we're going to talk about resilience through burnout. I believe that many high achieving women push through exhaustion, believing that rest is a luxury rather than a necessity. Now, I believe that your turning point came when an injury forced you to confront how burnout was affecting your life. Angie, my friend, can you share more about that moment and what resilience looked like for you during that transition?
Yeah, it was just realizing, like you said earlier, I was no longer myself anymore, and I kept ignoring my health and my own needs. And time again, in doing so, I reached a point where I wasn't enjoying life anymore. So I was pushing through this exhaustion, like we all do, and in reality, it was making me worse. I had like a little bit of a anxiety. It shows up as a warning sign, and then it was getting worse and worse and worse. And there was so many things, like I wasn't sleeping, my back was hurting, my legs were hurting so much that I couldn't get to sleep, and then I was waking up in the night. So it really had pushed me to the limits time and time again, and I wasn't listening to my body. So I kept going through that for over 25 years. So it was just ongoing. And I very much believe that you get the same lesson until you
Yes.
learn. So I
Yes.
don't know. I finally woke up and realised it's time now. It really is time. So the pattern was incredibly damaging for me, and I kept, was mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. So I had, I felt like it was finally time to stop because I was just watching this happen
Right.
all the time. So it was important for me to just, like, it was like I had a wake up call.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I, I didn't know who I was anymore. I wasn't acting like me. I'm a positive, smiley, happy person. I'd
Yes.
lost that. So it was just about really just realizing that I needed to do better for everybody. I was getting home from work and going straight to bed and doing all these things. So
Right.
it was almost like I had a bit of a reality check with myself. Like
Yeah.
I've reconnected with myself and thought, because I did a lot of mindset work, I
Right.
knew
Right.
that that was the one area where I wasn't putting myself first and that I wasn't coping. So there was things that I put into place that I now help my clients with. Like, and it sounds silly, but I was in my 40s and I didn't have any organization skills. I'd
Okay.
just go home and I wouldn't know what I was cooking, or I wouldn't know, things like that. And once I started putting these into place, like meal prepping on a Sunday, I was able to go home from work and not get a takeaway because I was so tired.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there were strategies that I wasn't using, which were enabling me to, you know, to have this, really, the exhaustion, because I wasn't helping myself. I was
Right.
leaving myself till last, and they was causing these setbacks. So my coping mechanisms, I was changing things, but before that day, I couldn't see that they were even a problem.
Right.
People would
Right.
say, "What are you having for dinner?" I say, "I don't know," and they'd know what they were. And I just thought that was me, but I didn't
Right.
realise that actually my lack of organisation, my lack of self care, self love, was
Mm-hmm.
causing me to have this exhaustion. So
Right.
instead of ringing the takeaway, I'd make sure it was all done on a Sunday on my day off. So it was just learning more about myself and
Right.
my needs instead of ignoring them.
Um, your realization of that totally resonates with me. Exactly. So now I know that it really can hit anyone when you are at that point wherein, there's something that you can't do. Because like you, when I lost my husband 2023, I was in a rut for a while. I was grieving, and
Yeah,
I just wanted to be in bed. And I had to go to work because I had to, but then I was like forced to go to work, right?
yeah,
And good thing I wasn't dependent on any like medicine. I was still able to fight taking meds at that time.
yeah,
That just like you, Angie, I woke up one day, literally passed by my bathroom and saw myself in the reflection, and exactly what you said, didn't like who I saw. I was unmotivated, I looked tired and miserable, and just like you, exactly, I knew who I was prior to this. I was very happy, positive person. So when you come to a point wherein you realize that, oh my goodness, who is that? You really get scared because
yeah,
you don't know that what you're capable of. You're not able to really maximize your potential because you're limiting yourself because of where your situation is at. So I do believe that it can happen to anyone. That's why I love that you are here, because I'm sure this story of ours resonates with a lot of people. And it's so
oh yeah.
scary when you can't wake up one day because you're so like sluggish or tired and not motivated, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think with true exhaustion, people are waking up
Yes.
just as tired as when they went to bed. And it's because their body is trying to tell them that they're doing too much, it's hard enough, and it is shutting down. But we don't listen until it's too
Yes.
late. So I'm hoping that people realise that life shouldn't just be like, you shouldn't be going around saying, I'm tired every
Yes.
day. That isn't
Yes.
normal. We shouldn't, justify that as being normal. We should feel energized. We should be enjoying our
Right.
life and be happy.
And life is short. If you are not able to appreciate life and all you think about is like how you're gonna live by and not how to actually enjoy it, oh my goodness, you're wasting your life. And I'm not young anymore. Right now, after I after I found, you must be young. After I found this journey of self-care, self-love, Angie, I never looked back in my past. Like I started
Yeah.
just positively looking forward. And you know what? You know what's the benefit of finding yourself when you have that self-love in you? I can do anything. You know what I mean? Like I can
Yeah.
actually do anything, be anything, and whatever happens, let's say I go for something and it doesn't happen or it doesn't work out for me, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just learned to embrace things whether it's good or bad because I have that self-love in me. I came to realize that life is not all ups. There's going to be a lot of downs, but it's up to me to make those, struggles, defeats, and challenges make me become better. So, life is not easy. Life is a continuous problem and setback. But if you love yourself, just like what you said, you and I have, that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay, right?
I think that's a big point, though. Normally, a lot of exhaustion, people that have it don't have healthy boundaries. They
Yes.
don't have self love. So it's a big holistic thing that happens that they lack self love, so they leave themselves till last. And
Right.
you know, people don't know how to love themselves because they've been like that ever since they've known. So it's just about recognizing that resilience isn't about ignoring exhaustion. It's about recognizing when to pause, when to assess what to do, how to help yourself better, and start listening to your body. Because
Right.
when you don't have self-love, you tend to just ignore your own needs constantly. And it's as soon as you're self-aware, it's like the first step. And then it's like waking you up, realizing that you do deserve more, you can have more, and
Right.
you can stop the cycle.
Angie, I know you mentioned something about you coach people to fight burnout. Am I correct?
Yeah, I can't. I'm exhausted for midlife women, so I
Okay.
try and get them before the burnout stage if
Before
possible.
the burn. Okay.
Because yeah, obviously, who nobody wants to burn out, but it's pretty much everywhere around me that
Right.
wherever I go, people are exhausted. So it's more common. But I
Right.
think the problem is people don't realise the exhaustion's going to turn into burnout.
Yes. Now, do you help women in a corporate setting, or is this more of like a coaching, individual small group coaching?
Yeah, just individual small group coaching at the moment. Yeah, just helping, women like me that have just worked all their life, tried to, bring up the kids. They might be leaving the nest now and they're feeling a little bit like, what do I do with myself? Or they might just still be juggling it all at the same time. But as a woman, we kind of lose our way. You
Right.
speak to people and you say, what lights you up? And they don't even know.
Oh,
No, honestly, the clients that I speak to, and I'm like, they're like sad and
yeah.
exhausted, and when you're not 100%, you can't be your happiest. But
Right.
when you're saying
Right.
to them, what lights you up, what makes you happy, and they don't know, it's really
Yes.
sad because they need to rediscover themselves again.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes.
they forgot about themselves. You ask them
Right.
who they are, they'll say, I'm a I'm a teacher or something. You're like, no, you're not a teacher. That's your job. Who are
Right,
you?
right, right. So I wanted to like reflect on what you said because I was in the field of education for 30 years, okay? Teacher, part admin, I owned my own school. Like I'm one of those teachers who love my job. I really
Yeah,
genuinely love what I do. But sometimes when I go to work and I see a lot of my colleagues, my co-teachers, they really just have to, like, they look at being a teacher as like a job, just like what you
yeah,
said. It's not like I'm here for the kids. And that's also the reason why part of my speaking, when I had this career shift, which was last year, I made it a point. I don't just want to leave my colleagues behind. So I came up with a tour wherein I'm part of my tour is called Heart of Teaching, wherein I
oh,
am there empowering teachers and helping them fight burnout because
yeah,
burnout exhaustion, Angie, is real. It's so real. And I'm sure it's not just in the field of education. I'm sure whatever industry you are gonna be at the point wherein you're gonna feel burnout. First, you're doing the same thing over and over again. Second, you're not positive. Like what you said, you're kind of
Yeah.
losing yourself because you're working too much or whatever you're dealing with at home or your or personal life. Um um that can really affect you as a professional, right? That's
Yeah.
why that's part of my keynote talk, that tour, because my heart is really with my colleagues. Like, the students rely on us so much and they look up to us as educators. So I like that you have this helping them individual, while I'm here helping them in a corporate or in a school setting.
Yeah,
So
100%. I've worked with, I've taught children for 16 years as well.
yes,
So I know that every teacher that leaves is because of exhaustion. The hours are
yes,
just too much. If
right.
they could just stay for the children, they would. But it's the fact that they're just exhausted and they lose the love of the job because they're so exhausted. So, teachers should be taught mindset shifts and
Yes.
things that help them with their mental well-being and their health really. So it's in every
Right.
business really, isn't it? It can be used.
Do you know the first takeaway or lesson that I share with them to fight burnout? You and I just spoke about it: self care, self love.
Yeah,
That was my very core of my lesson, because without that important two words that we
yeah,
just said, you can't. That is the core. That is your core start. That is where everyone should start, within you, right?
yeah.
Whew, I love it already. All right, second question. We're just in the first question. All right, so Angie, you and I are solo, and when there chaos, we need to know that we can find balance amidst the chaos in our life. Now, single parents often juggle. We have the career, we have parenting, and personal well-being. Yet, true balance can feel impossible to achieve. Now, you help women create systems to reclaim time for what truly matters, right? Um,
Yeah.
Angie, what are some practical steps single parents can take towards start creating that balance in their lives?
Well, I would like to say mainly that high achieving women hold themselves to unrealistic standards.
Okay.
They're often
Yeah,
perfectionists.
I was gonna say that. I
Yeah.
was just gonna say that.
And they believe that they should excel in every area. So, parenting, home life without missing a beat. So, true balance isn't about achieving a perfect split, it's a lot of mindset shift as well, and helping them reconnect with themselves and realize that being present in all areas, in just certain areas is more important than being on autopilot in all areas, because we all try and multitask in every area, and then it means that you're not actually present in any areas. So, one thing that I used to do with my child, I used to dedicate an hour to her when I got home, and this would teach her that this was my time with her,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Mm-hmm.
that I was present. And I'd switch my phone over, and no work, no stress, no energy coming in through my phone. She would know I'm fully present then, and that would strengthen our connection and give me permission to pause. So it's about finding out what's important to you and being present. I
Mm-hmm.
think as humans, we're now like computer screens. We've got about 10 different tabs open and we're trying to be in every single one. And what I've found is being present in the moment in one thing is more important. And if your child, for instance, knows that that's their time with you, then they're then going to allow you to go and do the other things you have to go and do, like the dishes and the cooking and the ironing. And I think it's just about giving your energy to one thing at a time,
That,
and that stops you getting overwhelmed as well, because the more you try and do, the more your brains just go round and round in circles, and you're trying to fill up a cup that's already overflowing. So I found that stopping multitasking has been really good for me. Like I said earlier, the meal planning, and even if you could just give yourself, say, 10 minutes when you got home, or have 10 minutes before you get home after work, and just have that 10 minutes to refocus with
Yes.
yourself. Go for a little brisk walk or put on a podcast for 5 minutes in the car and put the music on loud, but just try and reconnect with yourself for 10 minutes before you go back into a busy home, the kids, the husband, or whatever's going on. And, just try and put yourself first. It's just about reconnecting with your own needs so that then you're allowed to, pass it on to other people.
I just want to reflect on the group of women that you coach. You talked about high achieving, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with putting standards, high standards for yourself, but when you are a perfect, just at least don't let that perfectionism like limit you, because who are you doing that? Why are you setting limits by being perfect? It's just for you. Nobody expects you to do it but yourself, right? Like them. I was, look, I am also a high achiever, right? Before I would put, I was very perfection. I have that perfectionistic
Yeah,
mentality. And I just realized that it just makes me more anxious and stressed. Right
yeah,
now, I instill high achiever and I try not to put perfection anymore. Like if I make mistake in my podcast or in like whatever I do, I've learned to let it go. Like it's part of life. You know what I mean? That's okay. So it's okay to be high achieving, but just let go of the perfectionism. That's one thing that I hope they can take from, because you're just making yourself anxious and stressed over your own limits,
yeah. I
right?
think the funny thing is, as we're both teachers as well with children, you teach children no, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yes.
And we all do it as parents and as us as teachers, but when like anybody else does it as an adult, they think it's the end of the world.
I
And
know.
and it's like
And you know what? I think part of making that, part of it is acceptance and saying sorry. I feel that if you are able to apologize because you made a mistake, because it's not perfect,
yeah,
then it's okay, because some people are also not capable of making mistakes because they don't know how to say sorry, or they don't want to like admit to their mistakes. But sometimes that's wrong. Sometimes it's okay, people makes mistakes, right? Even a CEO of a company can make mistakes.
yeah,
Just admit that you made mistake. Like I have no problem admitting, even to my students, if I don't know what I'm doing, I will say, hey, give me time, I'm gonna find out. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
okay not to be perfect all the time, right? I believe in that because you learn from your mistakes, right, Angie?
yeah,
So might as well
100%.
use it. Yeah, might as use it as a learning moment at that time. Your mistakes. All right, so let me finalize that balance. Balance is something I've had to learn the hard way. So when you're solo, whether by choice, circumstance, or loss, balance isn't just necessary, it's crucial. You're not
Yeah.
just one parent, you're both. You have to maintain a career while ensuring that your children feel secure, loved, and supported. So if you don't set your balance, your children will see through you. So just make sure that you're setting balance in a positive and realistic way.
I
That's my
think
take on that.
a lot of it, as humans, we tend to just overthink. And you can be sitting there worrying about doing the dishes and the cleaning like for hours every day. And if you time block it out for a certain
Yes,
time each
that.
day or every other day or when you need to, it takes over that overwhelm and that feeling of, you're stressing yourself out about doing it. Whereas if you'd just gone and done it, it would have been over and done with. So we kind of just like go backwards before we go forwards. But the more you learn, like say 9 till 10 every morning, then that's when I do my housework. You'll know then, and it's done, and you can relax for the rest of the day.
I know, and to be honest, my cleaning day is weekend, okay? So as
Yeah,
long as it's not like there's food out or like it's really like a mess, it's okay. I tell
Yeah.
my kids they can clean up if it's too much. You know what I mean? I can't be everyone for everybody. You know what I mean? I
No.
am me. I have my strength, I have my priorities, and safety for my kids, safety for myself, and just meeting my needs right away, like my like what I need to submit at the moment. And I have my cleaning time. That's when I clean the house. So as long as there's no like it's not that messy, I'm okay. I've let go of like, oh, I have to do this every night. I can't do that. And to be honest, Angie, I used to live in the Philippines, all right? I'm a Filipino. In the Philippines, my family had helpers. We grew up with nannies and like housekeepers. So they did everything for us. Even to get glass of water, they give it to
Wow.
us. When we wake up, everything is set at the table, and we don't even have to put the dishes away. Our clothes are ironed, are set. I didn't have to do a thing. So when I moved to first Australia, I lived in Australia. I didn't know how to work. I didn't know how to clean. Oh my God, I felt so ashamed because I literally, at my age, I was 27 when I moved to Australia. I didn't know how to clean. I didn't know how to wash the dishes. Okay. So I'm like a little kid who needed to learn housework. Okay. So I'm not perfect. I will clean, but I'm not that perfect. It's because of my limitations growing up. All
But
right.
but then that's another thing. It's also power in knowing if you're working all day, you've got a good job, and you're not going to be home too late. There's nothing wrong with hiring a cleaner because you know your
Yes.
house is going to be clean when you get home.
Right.
So it's about having the power to
Right.
know what's best for you as well. There's no shame
Yes.
in that, but it's just realizing that the pressure to be perfect is what's fueling exhaustion, and perfect isn't real. It's okay to have a full
I
washing
love that.
basket. You're not failing as a mum. It's fine. It's about realizing when to move the needle forward and what's important to do first. You've got 10 things on your list. Just put the top two that you need doing first. That's it.
Right.
Don't look at the 10 things and overwhelm yourself. Just do the two. Tick it off and be proud of yourself.
Yes.
Celebrate your small wins.
Love it. I love it. And just an advice for those family women who have a little extra to spare, hire a cleaner.
Yeah.
Okay. Like ask for help. I've had cleaners most of my life, also in United States. And it's not because I'm just sitting down doing nothing. It's because I'm doing two, three jobs. You know what I mean? So and like I said, I'm not good with cleaning. At the same time, if I need help. It's okay
Yeah.
to say that I need help. And they are really, really helpful. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to like do the scrubbing and everything like that. So you know your limit. That was one
Yeah.
of my limitation, and it's okay. Thank you for mentioning that.
Does that
Don't
make you
be
feel better?
yeah, no, not anymore. Because you just you said that it's okay. So okay, I'm all right. But right now I'm single and solo. I can't afford. I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about power of boundaries. Now, Angie, many women struggle with setting boundaries that actually stick, especially when they feel responsible for everything. Now, you emphasize the importance of boundaries in your coaching. Now, I want to learn from you. What advice would you give to a, let's say, single parent who feels guilty about setting limits with their work, family, or with their friends?
I think nearly everybody I know feels bad. They people please until they know about it. I mean, I have clients that say, "Oh, I didn't realise I people pleased," and then they're talking and everything they're saying is people pleasing. So it's not a common term
Right.
amongst people that we use, or people please and boundaries and things like that, but it's so common. And I just think it is back to, not reconnecting with yourself, the lack of self love. And
Yes.
parent guilt is one of the worst things ever. And we do try and do everything, but we can't pour into everyone else. And to be honest, the only time we ever realise that is when it's taken away from us and we do have the burnout. We think,
Right, right.
oh, right. So we do ignore our own needs and we do eventually burn out, but the power of boundaries is it's just starting small, really. So
Yes. Yes.
remind yourself what matters. And for instance, if someone says you want to go out, can you come over tonight, and you know you're tired, you got to just think to yourself, I'm
Yes.
exhausted and I need rest. and
Right.
and give yourself permission. Give yourself a little permission slip for when you know you don't want to do something but
Right.
someone's asking you to do it. So and give yourself, say, three whys why you don't want to do it. You know, you've got an early morning at work and you want to prioritize your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to spend time with your child because perhaps you've
Right.
been tired all week. So what you're doing is, when you're not having those boundaries, you're choosing everybody else over
But you.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like you obviously know, if you're not aligned with your true purpose, we're all here to do our mission, to live
Yes.
our life what the way we're supposed to do. And if we don't have those boundaries, we're basically saying no to ourselves, our own purpose, and we're living our lives for other people. And you're not going to be happy by doing that. So it's just really important to, I know it's hard at first saying no
Uh-huh.
to people, but just start small and just say no. And just like, even if you have to like go inside, it's fine. You just get
Yes.
used to it. But just try and write down all the reasons why you're saying no, and like enforce that inside you so it makes you stronger, because
Right.
you're actually not choosing yourself by saying yes to other people
Yes.
when you don't want to. So I always say to people, just start small. I know it's hard, I know it's uncomfortable, but it's like anything else. You're rewiring new connections, and it will get easier over time. When I first did it to someone, they turned
Yeah.
around and said, What's the matter with you today? And
Did they get mad at you?
inside, I was laughing because I knew what they were thinking, but I was thinking, not going back on my word, not going back on my word. And I was having
Uh-huh.
this little internal talk, and I was like, no, I'm standing my ground. So
Yes. Yes.
people do get used to it, and it does get easier.
Right.
But as soon as you have the power of boundaries, you feel so great because you think,
Yes.
no, this is my life.
And you know what? I'm going to reflect on what you said. I don't care if they think of me like this, if they don't want to hang out with you anymore because you're changing
Yeah,
your style, you're setting boundaries. That's okay. It's okay. I'm learning to say no has consequences, right? But it's
yeah.
okay if they kind of feel that, hey, she's changing, I don't want to be friends with her anymore. It's okay. I don't care. Like, I'm
Yeah,
too
you
old for
have to
all
be
this.
yourself. That's another
Yes.
form of people pleasing. So, boundaries aren't about shutting people out,
Yeah.
they're about making choices that align with
You.
what you truly
Yes.
need. And that equals your happiness in the long run, basically.
I do agree with you. And then I did mention a while ago that healing meant finding that authenticity, right? For me, that
Yeah,
is really the way that I heal. Was it easy? No. I had to really embrace all the changes in my life. That was so quick. Everything was changing in my life, Angie. I had to face my struggles head on and truly grow through them, or else I'll be miserable. Now, honestly, it's been a year, a couple of months. I can confidently say, Angie, that I love myself. And because I love myself, I protect my energy. I really do.
yeah,
Look, I will talk to everyone, but I will collaborate with like minded people now. And
yeah,
I avoid those who are really toxic and don't align with my purpose. Look, I'm not going to be rude. I'm a very gentle and kind person. Like, I will not, I'll still talk to you, but if I feel that, okay, this is not going to be a deep friendship or a deep connection, I try just to avoid it. You know what I mean? Because then you're
yeah,
gonna question yourself again. Then you're gonna be in that state again of like not feeling good about yourself because you're dealing with someone who's not really helping you with your purpose, just like what you said. So I've learned to say no, just like what you said, to what doesn't serve me, whether
yeah,
people or situation, those that really don't matter anymore when I want to go through my path in life. So
yeah.
boundaries are an act of self-love. I agree with you on that.
I think that's a really important point, though, about exhaustion and energy.
Hmm.
If you are spending time with people that drain your energy, you're going to be naturally exhausted. So that's
Yes.
another great point to say, that
Yes.
you need to analyze if you'll know if you're spending time with people that are draining you, and you need to limit that as much as possible, because
Yes.
you want to be around people that make you laugh, make you smile, light you up, and just think about it when you're
Yes.
around people and watch what they're doing and see how it makes you feel. And
Love.
you don't want to be drained by people's energy. You ain't
No,
going to be
no.
like full of joy and happiness.
And sometimes when I still look at them and they're still, I don't think they found themselves yet because it
No.
shows physically. It kind of shows when you're not happy about yourself. It like there's no glow. It's everything that comes out of their mouth are so negative, and the way
Yeah.
they treat people are so not accepting. And I mean, it's not the norm, right? So
Yeah.
it that you really needed self-love, because or else you can't find who you are as a person, and you can't find your purpose in life when you're not when you don't know, when you're happy about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Angie, I will be gone for 30 seconds. I left my cat in my patio and she's mad at me. Just give me 1 second, okay? I am not stopping. Just 30
Okay.
seconds. All right. She was so
I
mad at
don't know
me.
if you saw, but a minute ago, my cat was walking past mine, and her tail kept going like that
Oh
at the top, and I was like,
my god!
"That push on her out of the way."
You're giving me goosebumps. We have cat problems at the same time. Wait, what color is your cat?
Black.
Oh my! Well, I'm black and white, so
Oh, nearly.
I love. Okay, no, you're good. Stay there. All right. Okay, this is one of the reason why I do what I do. I did mention I'm a keynote speaker, a podcaster. I do live show. I have my own show. I want to make an impact, right? But I want to make an impact without losing myself.
Yes.
Now, Angie, career driven women often feel the pressure to be everything to everyone. Just what we said, right? High achieving, successful at work, present at home, and available for everything in between. Now, share with us, how do you think can single parents continue making an impact in their careers and families without losing themselves in the process?
I think it's a lot to do with mindset. They
Okay.
need to believe that they can do it all
Mhm.
and not worry about it. That basically, as soon as you get that negative mindset, you get overwhelmed, you just don't do anything successfully.
Right.
So it's about realizing that you can do it, and that anything you can do to make your life better, just sit down and think about what
Yes.
are you doing in your life that is causing you to be chaotic. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, it's very important for me with my clients to teach them to give themselves an hour in the morning. So say you're getting up at 7 with the kids are dragging you out of bed, you're tired, you're stressed, you're running and rushing around
Right.
for school. What's that going to do for your work day? It's just starting with stress. So say the kids got up at 7, why not get up at, say, half 6, 6?
Yes.
Give yourself that hour. Do something that elevates your mood. Then that sets the tone for the rest of the day. So you could be doing a dance routine, a podcast, anything that makes you
Right.
happy, not looking at your phone with negative energy coming in off people. So it's about setting yourself up for the day to see where you feel it could be better. Like you said, some days, cleaning day, that's my cleaning day as well.
Yeah.
I go shopping at the weekend and I get all my meals for the week. I know every single day what I'm having. And I never had this organisation until I was 40. So this is why I was burning out and I was getting exhausted, because I was just like a
Yeah.
headless chicken running around doing all these things and not knowing what I was doing. So it's about
Right.
just impacting your life with small little changes, and it's so easily done. Like, say you're at a computer all day at work, and you get overwhelmed. You're gonna just
Right.
take every hour, go to the toilet or go outside for 5 minutes. It's about breaking things up, trying to do what's most important first and just not getting to the bottom of your to-do list. Just have three things on there.
So, this part of the show is what my podcast is called, intentionality, living with purpose and intentionality. And as what you shared previously, all that you shared, it's simply being intentional in everything that you do, right? And I love exactly what you did.
Yes.
Those things, when you are intentional, you can totally change your mindset and accept the change because you already have the ability to change your mindset. So why not be intentional in everything that you do so that it moves perfectly? So I want to ask you, Angie, you transform your life by choosing to put yourself first, right? And now you help other women do the same. Now, how can single parents reconnect with a sense of purpose and start living more intentionally, even in the midst of their daily responsibilities?
I think, like I said earlier, they have to see themselves as a person, not just as a teacher or a mum. They have to
Yes.
remember that they're still them,
Yes.
and not, and they have to stop putting themselves last because they're losing their identity. So, it's good for them to just sit down and ask themselves some key questions, something like what do I actually really want out of life? Like, what makes me happy? How many times this month have I done that thing that makes me happy? And if they don't know, go and do something. Go for lunch with their friends, someone that makes them smile. Go and try a new activity. Like, sometimes when we get into that later stage, we don't know because we've gave all our life to our kids and everything. We have to reconnect, start again. So it's about sort of like thinking about things like what's one thing you can do that your future self will thank you for.
Yes. Yes.
If you had a year left to live, what would you do in that year? It's really deep questions, coaching questions that they can use on themselves without a coach and just help them understand themselves a little bit better and what they need. Because the more they give to themselves, the less they're going to lose
Right.
themselves, and the more they're going to be able to give to others because they won't burn out, they won't be exhausted, and they're happier. And it be able to show all in their family. Because I know when I was exhausted, I was so irritable, I was so
Yeah.
moody. I
That's
was
what you
trying to
said.
give what I didn't have. It was like batteries, trying to get batteries to work when you're like that with the TV remote. That was me
Right.
on overdrive. And I could hear myself speaking to my family like rubbish. And it would come out, and then I'd be like, whoa, it was just scary because it didn't sound like me. And
Like
when
you. Yeah.
you've been through it, you just want everybody
Right.
to realize that your life is important and stop putting yourself last, because you should be at the center of your life, and you
Right.
can still
Right.
be a good mum, you can still be a good employee, but you matter.
Yes. And part of what you said, be intentional, like find your priorities so that you're
Yeah.
not all over the place. Because when you know your priorities, then you can be intentional and work on it smoothly. And just to add to what you said, know your purpose in life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Don't lose track of like your purpose. Am I going to be, if your purpose is just being a good mom or being a career person or just being out there for everyone, know what you really want out of your life so that you can just focus on doing it without losing yourself in the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you know where you're headed, then if you sometimes get distracted, and then when you get distracted, you get the burnout, you get the self-doubt, you get the poor self-confidence, you can still like backtrack and focus on, no, this is my path, I cannot lose myself right now, right? So everything everything is connected, right? So I
Yeah.
think you and I need to like, all these things that we're sharing with the viewers, with others, really are so powerful because it can actually help. You know what I mean? We're not just talking about theories, we're not just talking about things that
No.
come out from a book. These are real problems that women or men go through, real experiences that you and I dealt with, and then we can give them real solutions to real problems. This is what I am here for, and I'm sure why you're here for.
Oh,
Just really,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Changing and helping the best way that we can. And it's free. Podcast is free. You don't have to pay copay or use your medical insurance. Sometimes this is life,
Yeah.
real life. Just find a podcaster that you can resonate with. Candice Ruggiero here. And I promise you, because this is my purpose, I really make sure I have amazing, incredible guests who really have powerful stories to share. That is my path. That is my pact for them. That is what I intend to do. Why I'm doing this purpose. So, very powerful words that coming, from you. Thank you. All right. So, I just want to everybody that guests in my podcast, I have this really question that I ask them. I know you shared so many things already. Talked about mindset, you talked about self-love and really being intentional in everything that you do, that letting go of perfection when you're a high achieving career person. Now, if there is, let's say, a concept, a quote, or a topic that you want the viewers to really like remember you with, or something that you still want to share, what would that be, Angie?
Just the you first, really. And the more you
Mm,
prioritize yourself, the more you have to give to what truly matters, like your family, your friends, and yourself. And which ultimately means that you're happier in life and you're more energized. So,
I love it.
no, none of this. It's selfish or feeling guilty. You should come first,
Yeah.
and it's not selfish. It really isn't.
Yes, like what they say, self care or self love is not selfish. It's a necessity, and
Yeah,
you are your self love. You create your own self love. Nobody can really tell you. We can give you advice, but in the end, it's what works for you. Right?
100%.
Self love could be your physical, mental, emotional. Whatever you think will help you become a better individual, then you know what? Stick with it. Baby steps if it's hard. Maybe two techniques in a week. And then if you're thinking, if it's becomes part of you already, then, add another one. Don't feel like, you have to do all these techniques all at the same time.
No.
One at a time, stick with it and add a new one, maybe in 2 weeks or in a month. You
It's
just
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how you can just add something simple into your life. I know when people are exhausted, you don't want to think about anything, but even just something like starting the day with gratitude. If you wake up every morning and think in your head three things you're grateful for, you're then going to be focusing on the three things you're grateful for rather than waking up and thinking, oh, I'm tired, I've got work. And then the negative thought process goes round and round in circles. You have to intentionally think, what am I grateful for this morning? Do that every morning. And that small little change can make such a difference with mindset for people that
yes.
are in that negative thought cycle.
On top of that, if you think that your brain is so loud and noisy because of all the things that's happening around you, silence your thoughts, meditate.
Yeah.
Right? In your own way. Meditation, like there is a real kind of meditation, right? But no, you can do it your own way. It doesn't have to be complicated. Put your phone away, or I set a timer for me. I started with 2, 3 minutes for like a month or 2 weeks to a month. Until now, I can do 20 minutes. And Angie, the feeling of just like my phone is away from me and it's just quiet
Yeah.
and just nobody's bothering me. I light the candle sometimes because I like scented candles, or sometimes I have the diffuser on. I have my essential oil. It's just nice, soothing, and calming. And as soon as I turn, I'm back with reality. It's okay. I'm fresher. I have new ideas, and I can deal with the everyday life in a more positive way, right?
Yeah. I always say to my clients, you don't have to meditate to be happy or energized, but it is good. But I think the main point is that you're trying to say, or what it does, is you're getting
Yes.
out of your head
Yes.
for a moment. And if you're constantly in your head, that's when you get overwhelmed, exhausted. too much is going on, and meditation is a great way to get out your head. So anything that gets you out of your head and just lets it rest is good for you.
Very good. And I'm gonna recap what you said about mindfulness, being there at the moment. Whatever you're
Yeah.
doing, it could be you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're enjoying a book. Just live at the present in that moment. Especially when you're dealing with your children, your better half. You know what I mean? Just be with them. Put aside work and focus your 100% to that person because
I have clients that have said to me recently actually that they wish they was more present for their children, and it's really sad because they're not going to get those moments back, and they've got that guilt that they wasn't present. So it's so important just to just give that little bit of time to be
right.
present, and then do the rest of the things you've got to do, even if it's half an hour. This is your time, then go and do your things.
I don't know how young your kids are. Mine are like my youngest is 18 or 18 and then I have a 26. And then my Facebook is like all I have a lot of memories, pictures when they were
Yeah.
younger. And when I really look at those pictures, I like really like shed a tear. Why? Because time flies by so fast. I can still picture the moments they were young, that we were doing Easter egg hunting, they were dressing up for Halloween, but now they're like in their rooms on their phone. You know what I mean? But you know what's nice is when they're finally, hey mom, we have like a moment when we're just all in my bedroom or we're just all in the patio. And I treasure that. I'm not going to get them 100% now. I can't control them anymore because they're older. But when we have those moments, I treasure them. I put aside work, I put aside my phone and simply be with my kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they grow up so fast, right?
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
yeah, Angie, I want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experiences with us tonight. I know so many single parents listening will resonate with your journey. Now, before we wrap up, how can our viewers connect with you? Do you have anything you want to promote or share at this time?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I'm doing my You First method at the moment. It's a 12-week program
Okay.
for anybody that's feeling like they're exhausted and they need to get back on track. Yeah, it just reboots you basically. It helps you look at areas that you don't usually look at, and set healthy boundaries, and the restore your energy. Find these strategies that will work for you. Everybody's different, and everybody gets different things out of coaching. It's just about resetting and reflecting on themselves, helping them reconnect, build that self-love and confidence.
Right.
So yeah, it's amazing because it works differently with every different person you meet, because everybody's got different needs. So I'm doing that at the moment, and I'm on Facebook as Angie Mays Mindset Coach. That's where I'm mainly on, so I just really promote that one.
Right. And I remember I have a friend who said like he works in the computers. He's like, I'm doing a big system upgrade. Think of our life. Even computers need to reboot.
Yes,
Even your phones need to reboot. Computers need to reboot. And when my friend said, I'm doing a big system upgrade, maybe you need a huge system upgrade in your life. You know what I mean?
100%.
So your courses or what you're offering, that can be that big system upgrade. Because you know what? Life is so precious. Life is so good. Sometimes you need to actually live it, not survive it. And if it takes, like you said, just rebalancing, re-energizing, go do it because you are your own investment. Never, never, never always prioritize yourself, invest in yourself because that's you. Nobody's gonna help you but yourself. Right?
Yeah,
And
it's
sometimes
really
you can't do it
empowering.
alone. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's
Go ahead.
really empowering putting yourself first as well. When you learn how to do it, you just feel like you light up inside because you know you've got that respect for yourself.
And like we don't want to be just living life because it's a routine. We do this every day.
No.
No, you need to find your passion. You need to find your purpose. And you know what? That's what makes life beautiful because you're aiming for something beautiful in your life, right?
Yeah,
And it
100%.
doesn't
There's
have to
no,
be big. It doesn't have to be big. It could be just
no.
your motherhood. Yes, you were saying, my
We
Angie?
only get one life and every day
Yes. Yes.
matters.
Yes. Like sometimes I look back, I'm like, I still wish I did a lot. But you know what? I can start fresh. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
always the first time. You're never too young to start anything that you want. That's what I truly believe in. All right.
Okay.
Any parting words before I close the show?
I'm just like to say thank you for having me, and
Thank you.
that it's just like spreading that message is just so important to me because I've been through it so long, and finally want to encourage people to find their power, step into
Yes.
who they're meant to be.
And I know you're from UK, and this is
Yes.
shown in America, worldwide. Will you be able to accept clients from America, like a
Yeah,
virtual?
of
Yeah, okay,
course.
it's global. Okay, all right. So, to everyone listening, remember this: being solo doesn't mean being weak. It means being strong, resilient, and intentional about your life. You have the power to create a balanced, fulfilling, and purpose driven life, just like what Angie and I spoke about. So I just want to say thank you always for tuning in to Intentional Excellence Podcast. If you want to connect with me, my website is www.candiceruggiero.com. I talk about authenticity, intentionality, leadership, empowerment, and burnout. And I speak in multiple venues, convention, conferences, professional development workshop. And I have a live show every Monday, which I talk about love, embracing yourself, uplifting others, and global compassion. And again, podcasts, twice a week. And I have incredible guests that you could meet on a regular basis. Thank you for everything, everyone. Angie, it was lovely, lovely to meet you
Thank you very
today.
much.
All right. So, everyone, until the next time, stay strong, stay intentional, and keep thriving. Bye. Have a good night, everyone.